In the closing chapters of Revelations, chapter 17 to 18, are blatant stories of patriarchy versus matriarchy. We understand none of what we think we know if we don't know that life is about patriarchs versus matriarchs. We the people were in the guards of women first, and was forced and some tricked to come out of the gardens and denounce women. In these two chapters, man is casting the people out of the gardens of matriarchs and justifying taking the earth from women by pledging wars against her, with the justification being the labeling of derogatory names. Now, Revelations 17, verse 18, the writers of the Bible is telling us that matriarchs of women are in rule of the earth, and the patriarchs are rising by hunting and killing the women of the earth. Chapter 17, verse 18 of Revelation reads, "The woman you saw is the great city that rules over the kings of the earth." The women, or matriarchy, is in rule of the earth. The patriarchs are pledging wars against them. Now, this gets very graphic and very extreme. Listen, as men pledge war against women to take the earth from them. Now, men are justifying taking the earth from women by calling them prostitutes and harlots. Babylon, which is a matriarch, the prostitute of the beast. One of the seven angels who had the seven bowls came and said to me, "Come, I will show you the punishment of the great prostitute who sits by many rivers. With her, the kings of the earth committed adultery, and the inhabitants of the earth were intoxicated with the wine of her adulteries." Then the angel carried me away in the spirit into the wilderness. Then I saw a woman sitting on a scarlet beast that was covered with blasphemous names. It had 7 heads and 10 horns. Now, we just covered the horns in the previous video. The woman was dressed in purple and scarlet and was glittering with gold, precious stones, and pearls. She had a golden cup in her hand filled with abominable things and the filth of her adulteries. The name written on her forehead was Mystery, Babylon the Great, the mother of prostitutes and of the abominations of the earth. I saw that the woman was drunk with blood of God's holy people, the blood of those who bore testament to Jesus. When I saw her, I was greatly astonished. Then the angel said to me, "Why are you astonished? I will explain to you the mystery of the woman and of the beast she rides, which has the 7 heads and 10 horns. The beast which you saw once was, now is not, and yet will come up out of the abyss and go to its destruction. The inhabitants of the earth whose names have not been written in the book of life from the creation of the world will be astonished when they see the beast, because it once was, now is not, and yet will come. This calls for a mind with wisdom. The 7 heads are 7 hills on which the woman sits. There are also 7 kings. 5 have fallen. One is, the other has not yet come. But when he comes, he must remain for only a little while. The beast who once was and now is not is an 8th king. He belongs to the 7 and is going to his destruction. Then the 10 horns you saw are 10 kings who have not yet received a kingdom, but who for 1 hour will receive authority as kings along with the beast. They have one purpose and will give their power and authority to the beast. They will wage war against the Lamb, but the Lamb will triumph over them because he is Lord of lords and King of kings, and with him will be his called, chosen, and faithful followers. Then the angel said to me, "The waters you saw where the prostitute sits are prophets, multitudes, nations, and language. The beast and the 10 horns you saw will hate the prostitute. They will bring her to ruin and leave her naked. They will eat her flesh and burn her with fire. For God has put it in their hearts to accomplish his purpose by agreeing to hand over to the beast their royal authority, until God's words are fulfilled. The woman you saw is the great city that rules over the kings of the earth. After this, I saw another angel coming down from heaven, and he had great authority, and the earth was illuminated by his splendor. With a mighty voice he shouted, "Fallen, fallen is Babylon the Great. She has become a dwelling for demons, and a hunt for every impure spirit, a hunt for every unclean bird, a hunt for every unclean and detestable animal. For all the nations have drunk the maddening wine of her adulteries. The kings of the earth committed adultery with her, and the merchants of the earth grew rich from her excessive luxuries." Warning to escape Babylon's judgment. Now this is the patriarchs of men playing the role of angels and God, and casting people out of the gardens in the name of their patriarchal Lord. Then I heard another voice from heaven say, "Come out of her, my people, so that you will not share in her sins, so that you will not receive any of her plagues. For her sins are piled up to the heaven, and God has remembered her crimes. Give back to her as she has given. Pay her back double for what she has done. Pour her a double portion from her own cup. Give her as much torment and grief as the glory and luxury she gave herself. In her heart she boasts, 'I sit enthroned as queen. I am not a widow. I will never mourn.' Therefore, in one day her plagues will overtake her: death, mourning, and famine. She will be consumed by fire, for mighty is the Lord God who judges her." When the kings of the earth who committed adultery with her and share her luxury see the smoke of her burning, they will weep and mourn over her, terrified at her torment. They will stand off and cry, "Woe, woe to you, great city, you mighty city of Babylon! In 1 hour your doom has come." The merchants of the earth will weep and mourn over her, because no one buys their cargoes anymore. Cargoes of gold, silver, precious stones and pearls, fine linen, purple silk, and scarlet cloth, every sort of citrus wood, bronze, iron, marble, cargoes of cinnamon and spice, incense, myrrh, and frankincense, of wine and olive oil, of fine flour and wheat, cattle and sheep, horses and carriages, and human beings sold as slaves. They will say, "The fruit you long for is gone from you. All your luxury and splendor have vanished, never to be recovered." The merchants who sold these things and gained their wealth from her stand far off, terrified at her torment. They will weep and mourn and cry out, "Woe, woe to you, great city, dressed in fine linen, purple and scarlet, and glittering with gold, precious stones and pearls. In 1 hour such great wealth has been brought to ruin. Every sea captain and all who travel by ship, the sailors and all who earn their livings from the sea will stand far off when they see the smoke of her burning. They will exclaim, 'Was there ever a city like this great city?' They will throw dust on their heads, and with weeping and mourning cry out, 'Woe, woe to you, great city, where all who had ships on the sea became rich through her wealth. In 1 hour she has been brought to ruin. Rejoice over her, you heavens.'" Now, this is the patriarchs of men saying, rejoice over the burning woman, and rejoice because we are now taking the earth from her. And I find it real interesting that they start with taking the seas, because the seas are what lead to these great cities of matriarchs. Now let's continue. Rejoice over her, you heavens. Rejoice, you people of God. Rejoice, apostles and prophets, for God has judged her with the judgment she imposed on you. The finality of Babylon's doom. Now, We understanding that Babylon is the matriarch. Then a mighty angel picked up a boulder the size of a large milestone and threw it into the sea and said, with such violence, the great city of Babylon will be thrown down, never to be found again. The music of harpists and musicians, pipers and trumpets will never be heard in you again. No work of any trade will ever be found in you again. The sound of a milestone will never be heard in you again. The light of a lamp will never shine in you again. The voice of bridegroom and bride will never be heard again. Your merchants were the world's important people. By your magic spell, all the nations were led astray. In her was found the blood of the prophets and of God's holy people, all who have been slaughtered on earth. Matriarchy versus patriarchy. And I find this very interesting that the blood of the prophets are highlighted and Jesus is highlighted as well.